Life of the Party is the new comedy starring Melissa McCarthy as a mom who's recently divorced and returns to college the same year that her daughter is experiencing her senior year. So, Nate, before we go into this movie, this particular one, what do you think about Melissa McCarthy? I mean, are you a fan? Are you not a fan? Are you kind of lukewarm?
Yeah, just lukewarm. I'm right in the middle. I think Melissa McCarthy is funny, can be funny with the right material. I think she's hilarious in Bridesmaids, and I've seen her be very funny on SNL and other skits like that. What about you?
Exactly. I feel the exact same way when it comes to like working with Paul Feig or doing SNL. I think she's hilarious, but when she makes these kind of movies, the movies that she co-writes with her husband, which he goes on to direct,
A lot of involvement.
I feel like you really have to be into Melissa McCarthy to kind of really get going with that. I think that she can elevate good material, but the material she and her husband come up with, I don't think it's that good. So if you elevate it, you don't have, a lot of space to go.
I didn't dislike her character in this movie.
No, absolutely not.
If there's one thing I can appreciate about this movie is that she is charming and you do want to root for her, and she's never like tasteless or annoying. No. And I do like that about her in this movie. They could have went that route pretty easily.
Yeah, she is very earnest in this performance, and she does make you sympathize with the character. Yeah. And it's kind of one of those things where if this, once again, her elevating the material, I really did believe her performance, and it's kind of strange to praise her performance because it's very genuine, and she does make you root for her. But she's supposed to be like the funny bone of this movie, and I just didn't find her particularly funny this time around.
Yeah, she got a few smiles out of me, but
yeah, a few grins.
Yeah, a few grins, but it is the supporting cast that if this movie is funny, it's coming from the supporting cast. More specifically, Maya Rudolph probably gets the biggest laughs.
Oh, yeah, Maya Rudolph is easily the funniest part.
Yeah.
Frankly, the only funny part about this movie. Let's just roll right into the comedy.
Sure.
I did not find this to be a funny movie. It's kind of weird. I know this is Mother's Day weekend, and this is kind of the Mother's Day weekend movie for moms and daughters to go see. So maybe we're not exactly the target demographic.
There's a lot of misses in this movie, and a lot of that comes from the sorority sisters and their characters. I think there was a lot of jokes that were missed there. Maya Rudolph does steal every scene she's in, and there are like some characters in this, like Chris Parnell, that's just sort of gone to waste.
Yeah.
He just wasn't given anything to be funny, and I was like, this is a hilarious guy. Why wouldn't you give him more to work with?
Same with Stephen Root as her father.
To its advantage, this is a movie that I think moms and daughters and families alike can go see and probably enjoy. I can see light-hearted mothers walking out there being like, I really enjoyed that. Thank you for taking me to this movie. Like, that kind of movie.
It is totally a mom's kind of movie. That is for sure. Especially because they play on some of the things. It's basically... It's not told from the daughter's perspective, like how she has to deal with her mom at college. It's about how the mom is influencing all these other people while she's at college. So you're right; it didn't come off as like like annoying mom's here. So I think there is some lightheartedness to it that families can enjoy. But I honestly got to say that this was there's times in this movie where I was grinding my teeth and I was rolling my eyes pretty hardcore. And it's funny, just. Little side note, there's one joke in this movie where Nate and I were literally the only two people laughing in the theater when Maya Rudolph made a Star Wars joke. Like, I thought that was like, we're definitely in the wrong place. Like, we're the only two who get that one.
Yeah, and the comedy, the problem with it is because this plot is really thin. You find that she gets divorced, she goes to college. That's the movie. She goes through a transformation, which I think that people can enjoy because it is very women empowerment. They are very smart. They're capable of women. They're, no one's treated stupidly or anything like that. But just nothing happens. After a while, I'm like, are we going to get into a plot here? Or is there going to be some sort of like antagonist instead of like, a snooty college student that's mean to her? That's it, pretty much. So it's just at times kind of boring. When it's not funny and not engaging, it's nothing.
I had trouble grasping onto like, what's the arc? What's the story? Because at first it kind of comes off like, oh, she's got to deal with the daughter being annoyed that her mom's at college. But then that just kind of washes away. That doesn't become anything. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, well, shit, it's about her finishing what she started and finishing college. That washes away. It doesn't come back to, oh, well, maybe it's about like her rediscovering youth. No, like there's no central theme.
The last 15 minutes really kicks off the plot of this movie. If you look at movies, with similar plot devices like Dodgeball, let's say, where it's like, we need $50,000 in this amount of time, and that's the plot of the movie.
Right.
That happened with 15 minutes left in the movie. Yeah. I'm like, what?
It played no part into the story whatsoever leading up to that.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, the pacing was completely off in this, but I have to keep going back to be like, you look at movies like Snatch Snatch that came out last year, where I'm like, not only is this movie like awful to take your mother to, it's just like really tasteless and R-rated, and there's nudity and gross out humor. But at least in this, like, at least it's soft and lighthearted, and I have to give it some credit for that, where it's never offensive.
No, it's never offensive with its comedy, but
it's just not a good movie.
It's just not a good movie, and it's not funny. It's not one that I, particularly enjoyed. I'm sure there are people out there who will go and watch and they'll have a good time, and it'll be a fun time for them at the theater, and, more power to them.
Yeah.
But just rating this movie on what I saw and what I experienced, I can't say that I really had a good time. There's parts of this movie where I was like, man, I got half of mine just walk right out of here right now.
Yeah,
but,
there was.
We can't judge a movie fairly if we don't finish it, so we stay and finish it.
Yeah, and it's one of those movies too where like there's so much bad that's happening in this movie. When something funny happens, I'm like, all right, Nate, like let yourself laugh, admit it, that was funny, so you can laugh. But I don't want to laugh because I'm like, no, this is a bad movie. I'm not gonna laugh at it, but it was funny. There was a couple moments like that in there, and there was one really fun, satisfying twist at a dinner scene. That was also pretty funny, and I was like, all right, at least there's like a satisfying moment for this character.
Yeah, and I will give it, there was one scene that kept me consistently laughing where they're at like a mediator for a divorce, but that scene goes as quickly as it came. So it's just
right.
like, come on, that was funny.
Yeah.
Like, let's stick with that.
Yeah.
And just that, that just chalks up to the editing. Not only the story editing, I mean, some of the dialogue editing in this movie where it's just like they just go to a shot of someone interjecting out of nowhere, and it's like, what was that all about? So there are those weird moments. I just think that when it comes to Melissa McCarthy and her own creations, like, it's just a lesser quality product than when she collaborates with someone. They come up with a good story together, and it's like she elevates someone else's comedy. But like when it comes to her material, I just don't think it's funny.
She can't hold it by herself. Yeah, I agree.
Buffs. All right, Nate, we talked enough about Life of the Party. A lot of downs, but a few ups. But why don't you go ahead and put your score on it?
Yeah, once again, we come into these times where this is kind of a tough one to score. So I will say that, like, if you want to take your mom to a movie and she has more of a clean sense of humor and she just wants something that she can just sort of watch and enjoy, I would recommend this movie. But personally, from a rating standpoint and from a movie standpoint, this isn't very good. So I can't put my stamp of recommendation on it, but I am going to give it a 5 out of 10. I'm just going to give it, like, right in between.
Middle of the road.
Middle of the road.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the comedy not landing, there are technical problems with this. There are screenplay, story, character development. There are problems, front to back with this movie. So I'm going to go pretty low. I'm going to go 3 out of 10. Oof. I really did not enjoy this. I know there are people out there who will enjoy it, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with this, but it's just there's so many flaws with it. Like, you're right. I had to get myself up to laugh. Buffs. All right, so that's it for our review of Life of the Party. What'd you guys think of the movie? Are we a little too harsh on it? Go ahead and leave a comment down below.
And we are super excited about next week because it is Deadpool 2. Yes. Very, very pumped about this movie. So we'll bring you that review next Friday. But wherever you are, whoever you're with,
watch more movies.